Nothing. You gotta have something if you wanna be with me. If you wanna be with me. Enough of that. Now, what the hell happened with this debate with Ben Watkins and Canadian Catholic? That was crazy. It was crazy from the get-go. Well, it wasn't that crazy from the get-go. I'm being dramatic. But, wow. You know, Ben Watkins is an older guy, you know. He looks healthy, but what is he, 40? Something like that there. Healthy 40. He's talking to a 20-year-old. A bright 20-year-old with a certain way of talking, a certain way of engaging. I mean, of all things, Ben Watkins should have been leading the discussion and looking out for his younger sibling in this philosophy game. If he feels he let himself get run over and railroaded and set up, I mean, that's embarrassing in itself. Now, I'm no big fan of Canadian Catholic, even though we're friends. He's a devious fellow. No, I'm just kidding. No, we've had, me and Canadian Catholic have had our times where we disagreed and maybe even disliked each other, but there's no way on earth Canadian Catholic was plotting to set Ben Watkins up for a fail, like trapping him over this elaborate series of arguments into a verbal like Ben Watkins was embarrassed because he thought he got trapped. His Canadian said, "Oh, you contradict yourself there." I mean, that's a debate. That's a free-flowing debate. It's the CC versus Watkins debate was basically, it was like, instead of having a formal debate, you only do the cross-exam part. And that's normal in a cross-exam where people interrupt each other, and they were both interrupting, giving as good as they took. There's lots of times I couldn't hear a Canadian finish his thought because Ben was talking over, interrupting, and vice versa. Now, at any point, if Ben thought this is not the proper format, he could have said, well, give me a minute, give me 30 seconds, don't talk. I want to get my thoughts out. He never took that initiative. He never asked for moderation. And everything was cool. Even Canadian Catholic offered him, like, beyond the halfway mark of their unfortunately short dialogue. Canadian said, some people in the comments here, the callers are saying I'm being too aggressive. Is that okay? And Ben said, yeah, it's fine. You're really enthusiastic about your arguments. So Ben had no problem. It seemed Ben's problem came up as soon as Canadian mentioned Tomaszewski or whatever his name is. And he started insulting Tomaszewski, said he's not a real scholar. He's a punk. He's a liar. I blocked him. Like, what is going on here? This guy's supposed to be a serious person. He's attacking fellow PhD level thinkers. Oh my! I think he got offended when CC said, "Yeah, well, he's a fucking professor." Well, of course, he's an assistant professor, but he's a PhD student. He's already an assistant professor. And then Ben attacked Tomaszewski's motive. He's like, he's biased. He has some sort of agenda in his arguments. Jesus Christ, the guy's not even there to defend himself, and he's being attacked. I've never heard once that Tomaszewski had any problem in any dialogue with anybody. As far as I understand, he's a perfect gentleman, and unlike CC, right? It's just kidding, CC. No, but what the hell is going on with Ben Watkins? He woke up on the wrong side of the bed that day. That's all I can think, because that was a terrible way to end the debate. Accusing your interlocutor, who's being intellectually strict the whole time. He's only focusing on the arguments. Nothing CC said had any personal bearing. Or you could say he was being a little arrogant, a little condescending, whatever. But it was all on the intellectual level. And wow, what the hell was going on with Ben there? That was wild. And he wasn't even truthful. Well, truthful is the wrong word. He may have thought he was being truthful, but he wasn't even accurate on CC's motives and style, because CC has been developing those sorts of arguments he ran for weeks, just out of intellectual interest. Doesn't matter if they're good or bad arguments. He's been developing them sincerely, right? So for Ben Watkins to go and say that CC had tried to set him up in this elaborate plot where he got him to agree to one thing and then say the opposite through two different arguments, I mean, that is just absurd. And there's no basis for such an accusation any more than there was a basis to accuse Tomaszewski of things when he's not even there to defend himself. Like, Ben acquitted himself terribly in that debate. And if he had any problem with the style or the format or the rapid back and forth or the talking over, he should have spoke up immediately and said we should have moderation or timed responses. He just collapsed. I don't think he understood. He wasn't familiar with the arguments that were put to him. He didn't fully understand them. Or even possibly CC didn't understand his responses. That's fine. It doesn't matter. But there was no call for him to leave in that disgruntled way, cursing, accusing of dishonesty. That was totally unprofessional, and it's really a shame, because relay theology is supposed to be a higher level of discourse than like new atheism, and it is. Like, we respect relay theology. Every serious theist respects relay theology. We respect people like Schmidt. We respect people like Watkins. We respect people who, even cosmic skeptic nowadays. Like, if you're not totally polemic and so on, there was just no reason for how Ben behaved, and it's unfortunate. If he was uncomfortable with the way things were going, he had every opportunity. CC even told him, "Hey, is this too quick back and forth? Is this do you want to change the flow and the format here? People are mentioning in the comments I'm being too aggressive. Is that okay?" Seems like Ben Watkins just really got pissed off as soon as Tomaszewski was mentioned. I don't know. They have some personal beef in the background. One blocked the other. God knows what these philosophers are doing in their downtime, and they're mad at their wives or what. But it was a terrible display by Ben there, and he should really, he's probably not going to apologize or even mention the incident going forward. Maybe he'll copyright strike CC. Oh, get this off the internet. I look terrible, but Jesus Christ, he should say, oh, I'm sorry, things got too heated, and let's have another discussion in the future, moderated and so on. But he probably won't do that because he has a bigger name, which is the way it goes on all sides, Christian, atheist, whatever. Yeah, Ven, you didn't come out looking too good. So, that's just the opinion of a simple layman. Yeah. So, get your shit straight, man. Get your act together. You got a negative attitude. All right. Well, I'll talk to you all later.